Hi everybody, this is Blossom. So, here I'm doing a video response to Tarot Alchemist, who shared the spread The Loch Ness Magical Scotland spread. There we go. And I really love that one. And I thought I wouldn't have time to do that, but I woke up this morning quite early. And yeah, so I'm just sitting on the terrace taking an hour. Oh no, now comes a car, I'm very sorry. So I don't have time to do it perfect. So when the sound is off sometimes I do apologize, and also with the lightning is maybe not perfect. As I say, I don't have a lot of time to edit later or to correct anything later. I just try to do that now very quickly with my first coffee in the morning, and then I have to start my day with other things. Alright, but before I start to read the cards, I just want to say I read with the Epic Tarot. Here you can see that beautiful pouch or bag that I made for this deck. I really love it. I found this fabric on some kind of like a fabric markety thing, and I fell in love with it, and it's so fitting for the Epic Tarot. And I don't have the Epic Tarot for too long now. It's a bit different. It differs from your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith and also not. And it's such a beautiful, well thought of deck in my opinion. And you're gonna see the cards now, so let's do that. Okay, and here are the first three cards. So card number one here, Castles. What security do I have? And here I have the Ace of Chalices. So, and this is very interesting because right now I'm in a position where I feel very free to let my emotions flow freely. And it is also suggested in that little white book that it is now a time that you recognize the divine within yourself, and that you are able to embrace the divine that can be found within yourself. But I also think it's interesting. Let me pick up the card very quickly. So when you have a closer look, let's focus. You can see there's something going on in her eyes. And yeah, I see something very particular in it. And I guess this could be for everyone a bit different. I don't know. It tells me something that I'm not going to mention. And this is actually very correct. When I say, you know, I'm ready to, where I feel more secure to let my emotions flow more freely, it is not just about the lovey-dovey emotions, but I had that the day before yesterday. You know, when there are so many things in a day that goes wrong, and it just adds up. And then you just have like your minor crisis. And you just sit there and you just want to cry. So normally I don't let that happen, and if it happens, I pay very much attention not to share that or to tell anybody that I was just sitting and crying because of a silly thing, you know, because it was nothing really bad happening, but it's just those hundreds of small things that make it big at some point. And I was just sitting down and I just cried, you know, oh no, why? I don't need that right now. And yeah, and then I had to go to my mum, and I would normally, you know, never say something to her. But then I told you know what, this day really is not my day, and I have it. And well, I could, you know, I told her everything. I even admit to her that I was just like 10 minutes before I got to her that I was crying, you know. And I didn't feel bad about it. It was one of the first time, you know, that I was okay with it. I felt safe to do so without being afraid that I will be judged for it, because it's actually not a big thing. But she was like really understanding, and she said, yeah, well, you know, you got that from me actually, you know, I panic easily, and you know, and there I feel more secure. So this was just one example. Sorry if I go a bit off now. It was just one example where I can share that I feel safe to let the emotions run freely without just having like the good feelings, but also the feelings, you know, also the annoying feelings, but they have to be let out as well. So that's just that. Let's just go to the next card. And then we have question number 2, card number 2. Where can I escape to? And there I have the 7 of Cups and the title of this card, because every card has a title, is The Chalice Dreamt. And my escape is my imagination. I have the ability to think big, and I often dream about creating new things. So daydreams, I allow daydreams in my life. And often this is seen as something negative, but in my honest opinion, I think everybody should do that much more, because we're getting so rational and almost pessimistic. But you know, I am always the one who sees the 7 of Chalices as a chance to allow yourself to daydream more, to create in your head, because your own fantasy world, well, for me, my own fantasy world is my escape in a way, but not, you know, with the negative, you know, oh, escapism. I don't see that as a negative trait. I think it's way too simplified if you just say, yeah, no, you just try to escape. That is oversimplified psychology, to be honest. And what I wanted to say now, sorry, my own fantasy world is my escape, and more often than not, it can become reality, and it will become reality. There we go. So card number 3, Highlands. What elevates me to a higher place? And there I have the 10 of Cups. So I was really astounded to get all those cups. You know, that's usually not my suit. And what you can clearly see in the 3 of Cups is here the kids playing, and yeah, what elevates me is that childlike wonder and curiosity. This brings me to a higher place, finding the magic in the mundane world and believing that everything is possible. You know what they do here. I think when you just look at this picture, you're gonna see it anyway. You know, it's quite clear. I love this deck. Let's go to the next 3 cards. Okay, so card number 4, Mist. What mystery is rolling into my life? And there I have the Judgment card, which is kind of beautiful. And what I got immediately when I was reading that is a higher calling, a melody that only I can hear, and following the path that is meant to be. And I have that, this spread will come later, so I interrupt shortly. I pre-recorded a lot of videos, so I'm actually done for a while with videos, because I have such a tight schedule at the moment. But this came up in another spread as well, and you're gonna see that I'm going to repeat myself there. However, so yeah, and this is what really this cards gives me, the mist that is the mystery that is entering, is that higher calling, and definitely now a time where I will answer that. Then number 5, Tartan. Where do I belong? And there I have Temperance. And when I look at that, so it is like I belong in the quiet place amidst the chaos. It is a feeling of being one with nature here. She's surrounded by all that. She's surrounded by all the elements. She's earth, she's water, she's fire, she's air. And there, surrounded by all these elements, finally finding my center within all the elements, and being able to live my own truth, which then, you know, is again here, when I say live my own truth and following the the unique melody that I can hear, and following that calling, it all comes together. Then card number 6 is Heather. What magic is growing in my life? And there I have the 8 of Swords. Well, that's quite interesting. So, but just looking at that picture, I see that I will be able to free my inner demons. We all have them. And I will find beauty in it. I will have much more understanding for these inner demons. And also understanding that I must heal those darker parts with gentleness, as they're just as fragile and they need nurturing as well. We can all see that when you wonder, you know, it's just because that being holds a rose. This monster is just hurt here with, you know, with the sword in the chest, but it's still holding on to that rose. And maybe, you know, we don't know how this is going to end. We don't fully understand what is happening in the card. And for me, this also means that the magic that is happening now, or the magic that will enter my life, is the one that shows me how I can find solutions in unexpected places. Okay, let's move on to the next 2 cards. So card number 7, Whisky. What end of day activity should I indulge in? Well, that's interesting. There I have the Sun card. And my first, you know, impulse was, oh yeah, watching the sunset at the end of the day, you know. And yeah, just taking the time of the day to observe how the world changes. And I had then that image in my mind, you know, where I let my own light merge together with the last light of the day, and this will create that magical moment. I don't know. It just really came to my mind at that point. So I thought that was interesting. And yeah, that's true. I could do that, you know, sitting just here on the terrace at the end of the day with a cup of tea and just watching sunset. It's a beautiful thing to do, right? Okay, and then the last card. Fairy. What supernatural aid is available to me? And I have the High Priestess, and I was like, what? Oh wow, that was quite cool. So this is the title of this card, is of course the Keeper of Mysteries, and someone will help me to cross that threshold in order to gain a better understanding of the life mysteries. I feel like a very strong guide is available to me now to help me to experience the magic in a profound manner. I cannot tell you too much about it, but I'm working now with a special guide, and I see already now things much clearer. But what is most important is, for me, always with the High Priestess card, is to make your own experiences with everything. And you know, this is just not book knowledge. And I think the direct contact with the guides is really crucial for me at this point. So that's it. Thank you, Lisa, again for sharing this spread. I loved it. And I'm going to start my day now. I wish you all a wonderful day as well. Much love and many blessings, and bye bye.